What's up, guys and gals? Welcome back to the Nerdcastle for the next episode of Neo Scavenger, in which we did Zomzoms, but I've become aware of like a fact that just happened when we went there. I think we got a bug or maybe a glitch, because when we went to Zomzoms, what was supposed to happen is when I gave him my... Did I give him my wrist bracelet? Hold on, let me make sure. Yeah, I gave him my wrist bracelet. So when you give the thing to Mr. Stoat, he's supposed to give you an orange box that allows you to complete one of the endgame quests that allows you to beat the game. Because we didn't get that orange box, I'm pretty sure we can't beat the game now. Like, I'm almost positive. So, that was supposed to happen. Like, I looked it up in the wiki and everything because I was like, that's a little bit weird that we gave him the bracelet and he didn't give us the orange box. You're supposed to get the orange box, and it's not anywhere here in the list. We haven't moved around or anything. So, I'm a little bit confused as to what happened right there and why we don't have that particular piece of equipment. He did give us, like, some brand new guns and stuff, which was nice of him, but by and large, what we really needed to beat the game was the orange box. And so because we didn't get the orange box, I think we still have options for beating the game, but they are a lot more slim and it's a lot more difficult. So unfortunately, where we're sitting right now, I don't know if that was a bug or a glitch or if there's a random chance that you don't get the orange box, but sans orange box, we're kind of in trouble right now. So anyways, we'll talk about that later on down the road. It's not worth worrying right now. Like, it's not worth getting our brow all sweaty for right now. There's no point like furrowing or doing any sort of thing along those lines. We did eat, unfortunately, human meat, which means we're going to be infected. That means that I think the best thing we can do right now is go up to the ATN Enclave. What's going to happen is because we ate human meat, it's going to give us cannibalism. When you have cannibalism, this guy's going to shoot me, isn't he? Oh, he didn't. When you have cannibalism, what ends up happening is your hunger starts to drain off very, very quickly. And it means that you can actually starve over the course of a couple days pretty quickly. You get the thing, I think it's called the black hunger or something like that. And it's not really denoted in your inventory at all. Like, I don't think it actually says like black hunger or anything over here. But we have to go to the, what is that? What the hell is that right there? Is that Grayling? No, that's a Ferris wheel. I don't think I've ever seen this before. The area around Allegan County Fair is pretty unassuming. Once sleepy neighborhoods with detached homes make up the bulk of the area, with streets lined by aging trees. Not much difference than any other place you've walked by lately. But as you round Delano Street and walk up Park Drive, things start to feel off. One house has some white lace curtains that won't stop moving. Another features a gaping hole in the second-story exterior wall as if the wall was sucked in by a powerful force. A third has some sort of menagerie or diorama of dolls in the front yard in varying states of decay. And at the end of the street, a glaring 10-foot rooster statue stands on the leftmost of a series of brick booths that cross what must be the fairground's entrance. Roosters, you decide, are creepier when they're twice your size and have an army of disfigured dolls as backup. This would be the point at which a number of Wang-related jokes could be dropped, but you know what? I'm just going to leave it where it is. You guys can fill that in with your own imagination. I'm sure you know where I'm going with this anyways. We can enter the fairgrounds or we can leave. I don't know what the wisest choice is. I've actually never done this event, and since there's so many instant death events in this game, it makes me nervous, but I guess we'll check it out. Bah, that rooster doesn't scare you. In you go. Behind the rooster's back, though, you know, just in case. Inside, there are heaps of refuse under sagging canopies. It looks like some sort of antique fair or flea market was interrupted here. Further into the fairgrounds, you spot a large permanent hall. Sliding hangar doors frame a yawning black entrance over which hangs a sign, Marketplace Exhibitors Building. No telling when that rooster will make his move, so you probably shouldn't tarry here for too long. Let's use Eagle Eye, I guess. You hold for a few minutes surveying the area. There's a lot of debris here and many good places to hide, but there are no signs of movement, no silhouettes, and no eyes glinting from the shadows. It looks clear. Well, let's go for trapping then. Yep, this place would make for an excellent trap. Scavenger bait, lots of blocked sightlines, and a lack of animal activity. That just about covers all the checkboxes on your list. So now we have to decide whether or not we actually want to get like jumped, because it basically just told us what's going to happen by using trapping. So let's leave the fairgrounds for right now. Something's not right here. You better cut and run while you can. Yeah, that's kind of what I figured too. I don't think we have any room left, so I'm not going to scavenge anything until we get to the ATN and unload some of this other loot that we have laying around. But right now we need to go get cured for cannibalism. You can only do this once, so don't get cannibalism twice. If you get cannibalism twice, there's no cure for it and you're a cannibal forever, from what I understand anyways. I've never actually gone with a cannibal playthrough. I've heard about people going for cannibal playthroughs because they didn't start with trapping, and in fact, a lot of people have actually said... We have a headache and we're dizzy. That's probably due to the fact that I have a face protection thing on right now. You'll randomly get dizzy when you have any kind of mask or thing on your face, and so you just kind of have to like deal with it. It may also be due to the fact that we just had face surgery or whatever. We had that eyeball surgery where they ripped our eyes out and we're like, tinker, 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 and they fixed it. Anyways, I think I'll probably... Sleeping is a terrible idea. So what I may do... Let's see... That microcell is empty. Oh, good. Those still work. Fantastic. I was a little bit worried that they might not. We need to scavenge. So let's get ourselves some food. Yeah, there it is. Not really what I was looking for, but still okay. Still okay. I'm not going to get grumpy about it. I'm not going to be all grumpy and frumpy and stumpy, maybe? I don't know. There's no reason for me to be stumpy right now. I haven't been playing around with any bandsaws or anything. What do we have here? A handful of edible berries. This doesn't taste like human. I am now an honorable cannibal. You can no longer feed me the trappings of a normal human life. There we go. I'll probably just slake my thirst on bad water, too, because I don't give a damn. And we have all kinds of amoxicillin, so it doesn't matter. We'll be fine. Everything will work out. This is the problem with this game. Once you get far enough in, like, you know you're not good enough to go after the end game yet, but you're way too good for the early and mid game, basically. Like, you've got too many skills, so you're just like, eh. Alright, so we got to go talk to Joe. And Joe should be able to treat our illness, I think. And so... that should, as far as I know, fix our cannibalism. It may or may not, though. It's one of those things that I'm not incredibly familiar with. You really do want to do a cannibal run. If you don't have trapping, it's difficult to get food except by killing humans. And so my recommendation would actually be, if you're not going to take trapping, which is ill-advised because trapping is like one of the best skills ever, but if you don't take trapping... things to think about, you should definitely consider becoming a cannibal. Yes, you'll go hungry a lot faster, but there's always people to kill in this game once you're equipped. So basically, once you've got guns and like all the things you need in order to survive, my recommendation would be absolutely become a cannibal. Works out pretty well. I'm going to sell that extra multi-tool. Those binos right there are way better than the ones we have around our neck. Let me sell that first, though. No, you go down there. I'll sell that. We'll sell that. We'll get rid of the tactical boot, I guess. Yeah, our boots are looking great, so we don't even need them. We got 99% night vision goggles versus 98%. I'll probably sell those then because it's an extra $100 that we earn from it. We've got our PW-Tronics digital water tester, and it takes too many moves to test water, so I never do it. I never get around to it. It's like crafting. It's basically kind of a pain to test water, so I typically don't do it very often. We've also got, what else can we sell here? We have Hatter's flash drive. Oh yeah, the other thing is that Stoat was supposed to give us another flash drive too, and he didn't do that. So I think that either the encounter bugged out or it works differently than it was stated on the walkthrough. Because after we went through there, I knew what was supposed to happen because I've done Zomzoms before. And then I checked the walkthrough afterwards because it seemed off. And he was supposed to give us an orange box and he was supposed to give us another flash drive. He didn't either. So I'm figuring maybe it's because we already accepted the flash drive from Hatter and the walkthrough just hasn't been updated to indicate that there's exclusivity between the quests. I'm not totally positive right there, but I'm pretty sure you're supposed to get an orange box and another flash drive. I'm almost positive. Anyways, let's buy this food because it's cheap. Don't buy... Generally, you want to not buy their mushrooms, though, because the mushrooms are too expensive. I will continue to buy bullets and buckshot because we made a bunch of money selling stuff right here. That binoculars right there has a strap on it, but we can make another strap on our... We can make another strap on our binoculars. You ever seen binoculars with a strap on them? Like, oh, good. It's not binoculars with a strap on, though, right? I'm just trying to make sure here. I'm trying to be very, very clear because I feel like there are definitely some things in between here that need to be explained. Where do you get bear root from aside from here? Can you actually scavenge bear root by yourself? Part of me is also wondering how good the Anishinaabe War Club is, and because I've never used it before, I think I'll go ahead and buy it right now. If we find ourselves... I know our vehicle broke, right? Yeah, that's why we're so hard up for space right now. Okay, since our vehicle broke, our next option... I was hoping that they would also have another, whatchamacallem, sleddy thing here. Unfortunately, they don't have a sleddy thing, which leaves us a little bit high and dry. Somebody had mentioned you could craft them. What I would add to that is that, yes, indeed, you can craft the little Native American sled thing. However... you have to have the mechanic skill in order to craft it. So therein lies the stipulation that I think most people are unaware of. You have to have mechanic, otherwise when you try and craft it, it won't complete itself. So yeah, it's actually a fairly easy craft to make. It requires a lot of sticks and a lot of like random wire and whatnot, but it's still not too bad. Let me unlock this thing in here. What's inside this BZ? Oh, we got a bunch of boots. That'll be valuable. 94% boots to be exact. Also more tinfoil, so I'll grab those. We've got makeshift rag shoes, okay. As long as it's not makeshift ragu, I think I'm good. And so with a couple more shoes in our possession, I'll probably hang out here for a little while and see if maybe we can come up with, I don't know, something useful. Hold on, let me leave real fast because I left my my night vision goggles are still on. I messed up and I should have turned those off right there. Our batteries are looking very, very low. And I'm not really planning on going back to Detroit for a little bit, so I don't know. I may do it in between episodes. I'm not really sure what I want to do with Detroit right now. We're basically done with that area. There's a lot of stuff around that we can still accomplish, but all of it's kind of just like random objectives that are all over the map. And so until you're really, really ready to dedicate and like get out there and do all these random little quests on the map, I think that, I don't know, going back to Detroit is still a risk that, well, it's not even a risk, I guess. I'm not even sure what I'm leaning towards right now, but going back to Detroit, it's just a long walk just to recharge batteries, I guess. My estimation right now would be that I would prefer to sleep. I'm going to try and sleep up in here, I guess. We're probably going to sleep into the middle of the night, which is a little bit disappointing, but we have no choice. On the plus side, we can go back in here, and now we can get a meal, which will set us down for the road, and then they may have restocked the trader. Maybe. I can't promise it, but they might have. They did not. And so let's go ahead, and what I'm going to think about doing is let's wander around a little bit. I do want to do the Allegan Fairgrounds, but I'm worried it's going to one-shot me. There's so many things in this game that kill you instantly if you pick the wrong option that I'm super paranoid about playing this game without a walkthrough. So anything I haven't seen before, I tend to like stay away from and just not touch it because, And I do it in one of my other playthroughs that's not on camera to test it, basically. Let's continue looking around. We've got some pantaloons. We got another smartphone. I don't know how many of these things are actually going to be useful. Is that actually... Oh, we can turn it on, but it's locked. Okay, that's fine. Turn that one off. If we take the battery out, we can slam it into this one right here. This one is unlocked, and it's got an image file on it. The image file does not appear to be valuable, though, because you will know the value of the phone will be higher. So the image that's in here, it looks like a blurry picture of a dog-like humanoid at the edge of a clearing. They're making fun of that Sasquatch picture. That random... Let's see here. There we go. That random Sasquatch picture that like everybody looks at. They're like, oh my god, it's totally the Yeti. I don't know. I've looked at that thing a lot of times. It seems very hoax-like to me. It feels very, very hoax-like. That's an 80%. How's my sweatshirt doing right now? No, I don't want to use this. I want to take all my clothing off. I want to take every last bit of my clothing off. I want to get nude right now so that I could take off my hoodie because it's at 77%. And put on this 80% one. That wasn't really worth the effort, and now my willy's all cold. Great. We've got 97% pants right there. Good. We'll throw all that stuff back onto our body because obviously it's fairly useful. Can I fit that shoe in anywhere? Is it a shoe in for our inventory? Oh, nope. We gotta go back to the ATN. I forgot. I gotta sell some stuff. I gotta see a guy about a dog, too, while we're out here. Where did that saying come from? So basically, you say you got to see a guy about a dog, it means you're about to go take a dump. And like I always wondered where that came from. At bare minimum, depending on where you're at, it means you've got to go to the bathroom. And so I was wondering where that came from. Was there a guy that one day just like said that he was going to go see a guy about a dog, and then somebody called him on it and found out afterwards he wasn't actually going to see a guy about a dog? I'm sure there's an explanation to that saying somewhere. I just don't know what it is. We still haven't gotten all of our hacking gear, which is a little bit disappointing. It's a little bit of a bummer. I'm going to turn that off because we have lighters that we can use for looting. By and large, I need to throw that around my neck. So let's leave the ATN one more time. I don't suppose you guys maybe... I really, really, really wish we could get ourselves another cart. The situation we're in right now is really subpar. We're not able to loot or do anything too valuable at the moment, simply based on the fact that we don't have the storage capacity for it. I guess for a little bit what we can do today is we'll go through and we'll try and clear out some of this fog of war or whatever. See if maybe we can get it out of our way and clear the map out a little bit. There is the possibility that we might find our way to another location that'll have like fun stuff to do. I know there's a lot of the map that I haven't explored yet. There's like 13 or 14 areas of interest, and I think we've only done a couple. The church door swings idly on its remaining hinge. Inside, a gaunt priest is trying to light a fire. He has that long-distance stare, eyes that look through whatever he's doing. The mess inside seems to indicate he's been here a long, long while. How has he survived this long? A discarded blue sash provides a clue. He's a frogger. Even looters show respect to that lot. There are a lot of them out there, though, enough to watch out for their own. This one's a grade A proselytizer, no doubt, and he's giving every indication of launching into a sermon. I've never seen this event. Let's do it. Let's see here. We can loot the church. Yeah, let's do that. The sermon issues forth without hesitation and without end. It's difficult to sit still that long. Doesn't the man ever take a breath? You start eyeing up escape routes when finally you receive a blessing. Not sure it was worth it, but who knows? Maybe the great frog will watch over you. Hooray! We have froggy blessings. I like frogs. We used to go frog gigging all the time when I was a kid, and then we'd eat them afterwards. It didn't work out so great for the frog. We'd make frog legs. Nobody else... Did anybody else do that? I don't know. My family's like Southern. I don't even know how many Southern people, though, like catch frogs and go frog gigging and eat frogs. I'm not even sure about that one, so I don't know. That might just be a family thing, but yeah, we used to go frog gigging every now and again. Probably like once or twice a year we go out with frog gigging. You got to get a big spotlight. You get one of those like 1,000 candle power lights, and what you do is when the frogs... What'll happen... And I would... For those of you who are sensitive about animals... Hold on. Another makeshift church up ahead. Blue frogs, more than likely. The froggers must have a monopoly on religion out here in the wastelands. Not hard to see why, you guess. Ruthless extermination of everything unfrog. Always looking for non-believers, too, like the foraging party of enclavers you've just met back there inside a housing complex. Let's see. We can save the enclavers, we can help the frogs, or we could play the middleman and see if we can make it work. I want to find out where the insane asylum is, so I'm going to help the froggers. One must do what's necessary to survive out here. Betraying enclavers isn't ideal, but when was the last time they gave you anything but problems? The Frogger folk, on the other hand, are extremely pleased to hear all about it. Your fake blue sash and your praise for the great blue frog were enough to convince them. Must have struck them on a good day, too, because they paid well. I've never gotten paid for hitting somebody, so you know what? That seems to be a deal that works to my favor. I enjoy it. I got to hit somebody, and we got a whole bunch of free stuff. Well, we got one amoxicillin pill. Hold on. Empty! Alright, so now we'll empty that out real fast, and what we need to do is I'll empty you, drop you in there, empty you, there we go. I don't want to carry around, that's my empty song. We'll go, empty you! I actually don't really want the Cavilo painkillers either, to be honest. They aren't my favorite thing in the whole game, and in fact, I like never use them ever, so carrying them around always seems kind of pointless. I'll put the blue pills in there. One of them, I think the orange pills are the metabolism pills. The blue pills are the sleeping pills. The white pills are amoxicillin. Unfortunately, we didn't get anything out of that, which is a little disappointing. My thirst is looking a tad sketch at the moment. Let's see here. Did I get sick? God, I've been drinking so much bad water lately, and I still didn't get sick. This is great. This is the greatest thing ever. I'm going to end my turn right here, and this is foothills with water, grassland with water, and marshlands. Let's not drink out of the marshlands, but for right now, forget it. No, I don't want to loot you. I want to drink you. I'm hitting the wrong hotkey, so it's kind of my fault. We got irritated eyes from drinking the water. No, our eyes were already irritated. Our eyes are pretty irritable anyways. They're constantly just like, "Meh, why isn't it my turn? Meh." I don't know why they talk like an old school gangster, but, you know, whatever. Let's go ahead and use some binoculars right there. Throw those around my neckerchief. There we go. We have magnifying optics once more so that we can see around the river bend. I'll probably take some amoxicillin. I need to head this off at the pass. Hold on. Let's take some amoxicillin real fast. I hate that you can't open this and just like take one thing. There. We'll take the amoxicillin because we have so much of it. Basically, I just don't feel like boiling water. I probably should have filled up all of my bottles though while I was there. It's okay though, we're not too far out. Either way. Oh, a blue frogger there. He has an orange shirt underneath his froggy vestments. I feel like we must be getting closer. I see a lot of froggers out here. Let's see. He's tough. That means he's going to be harder to wound. I don't know if I should talk to him or what. Let's talk. Purity has no time for distractions. What is that? The Saginaw Medical... Oh, that's probably the place that we were looking for then. I don't know how this is probably going to backfire on me, but I can reasonably... I'm almost positive it's going to backfire somehow. Let's gather up some water here for later so I don't have this same problem as we go down the road. And then we'll end our turn. I don't know what he's doing. He's just zigzagging. Maybe he's carrying water in between the two locations. Grassy plains ease you in as you follow the silent roads. As steel skies rumble, the wind runs away from where you're headed. You pass dozens of cars turned on their side and bearing war paint, bright slashes, or I thought they said sashes, because everybody has a sash on. I don't know, my brain changed it to sashes. Bright slashes of sky blue. As the road bends into a small patch of forest, a worn-down sign reads, Saginaw Mental Institution, in all caps, too. How rude. From the voids left by missing letters, you make out the words, reaching wellness. Now all it says is aching. I wonder how long it took him to figure out the saying for that, because that's pretty clever. I never noticed that aching was part of reaching. A clearing opens up ahead. There, a menacing building stretches almost a mile wide with impunity. You see blue frogs at the doors, armed to all hell. 2 floors, boarded windows, 1 entrance. Your choices are few. You hide behind a car and consider how to infiltrate the stronghold of a murderous cult. Let's go profess our love for the blue frog. With arms raised high, you cross the driveway towards a dried fountain where granite cherubs frolic with the weight of their heads. Halt! The guards shout, rifles ready. At the top of your lungs, you confess to having seen the light of the blue frog. They exchange looks. Their 2 rifle barrels stay on you. But can you leave your old life behind? One asks. You tell them you want nothing more. Then shed your old skins, he says. Enter our sanctuary as a newborn. A naked newborn, the other guard echoes. Well, what choice do you have? Yay, we're nude again. The air bites at your bare skin as the guard ushers you inside. Wear this. He throws you a hospital gown. Deja vu. Your eyes adjust slowly to the dark indoors. The decay is pungent, wood rot, bodily fluids. The guard takes you to a lamplit room where a short, pudgy cultist squats on the ground unmasked. 3 frog-shaped sculptures sit around him. Pamphlets and posters litter the floor. Welcome, brother, the cultist says as he zips up his pants and hugs you. Call me Rollo. The king is always delighted when one joins his flock, but before you see him, you must be pure. Choose then, a trial of water, fire, or with a twisted grin joins his ears, of light. You should always go with water. So basically what it does is the water gives you a stomach ache, it gives you gastroenteritis. The fire one takes your health down super far, but you survive. And unless you have tough, the trial of light kills you, so don't do the trial of light. We will do the trial of water. The cultist seems disappointed as he takes the small frog to a barrel in the corner of the room. The beam of light coming from a hole in the ceiling tells you it's used to gather rainwater. A ring of algae crowns its rim. Lie back, he says. You realize the table it was sitting on is part of the ritual. The guard straps you down and shoves one cloth in your mouth and wraps your head with another. The table tilts back. The cultist's voice roars. Let the pain of the water cure cleanse this man of sin. You feel a wave after wave crash down, turning cotton into rubber over your face. You try not to gag. Struggle as you might, a brook trickles up your nose when you inhale and down your throat when you swallow. You wish death would just take that last step. When it stops, the taste of filthy water lingers on your tongue. It's all you could do to stop the waters from rising again. You're dragged from the room. Voices congratulate you, but as if from miles away, you feel like you're waking with the slowness of surfacing through tar. You become aware that you're in a huge auditorium with a dome structure in the middle. Before it stands a blue frog, clad in ornate robes and a gas mask with a crown motif, standing on a dental chair. You hear only the tail end of his sermon. And for your piety we welcome you, brother. Now speak your name. Philip Kindred! The air leaves the room. All is silence. Could it be true, King? One of the cultists asks. Could he be the one? For a moment, the Blue Frog King is stunned. Kindred, he repeats. Thus shall return our Savior and our sign, bearing a name of brotherhood. Every one of them repeats the passage. They begin chanting praises that rise and blend together in the air, welcoming and foreboding at the same time. All except one man in a raven-beaked gas mask, standing still beside the king, his gaze fixed on you like stone. I feel like giving away our medical bracelet was a bad choice at this point. How do we prove that we're Philip Kindred? The crowd of blue frogs begins to descend into mania. The king must sense it too because he immediately calms them down. Brothers and sisters, for how long have we waited for the Savior to deliver us? How long have I waited? And how long had my father before me? Each of us walks this path, the path of faith, trusting that we will reach our destiny. But today, we see an end to our journey. But as it is written, and as we know, the message lies buried deep within the soul of the Savior, and only I, the king who wields the book of the water lily, can unearth it from the depths. Come, the king says to you, let us perform the remembrance ritual. The king and his second take you to the northern end, passing increasingly more lavish blue banners. Lanterns dot the dark hallway, illuminating cult symbols on the wall. The compound blends the clinical charm of mental hospitals and the blood-smeared piety of a pagan temple. The king stops up a set of locked doors. Bishop, he says to the second, go take care of the injections. But king, the king hurls him against the wall with a surprising bout of fitness. After this point is made, the bishop slinks away. I do my best to help, laments the king as you head inside. The room is barren of life. No symbols, no trophies, no weapons. It covers the necessities. A bed, a table, 2 chairs, and a chamber pot. Otherwise, there's only a stand, a safe, and a lot of empty space. The king sits you down. The scriptures say you were wronged, Savior. You had the truth in your hands, and when sinners could not take it away, they buried you inside yourself. But we can bring you back. We can take back the truth that can save this world. Fire and tears fill the eyes of the king. Who you are, what happened to you, who was responsible, all this could be moments away. From a hidden slot at the center of the table, the king pulls up a metronome with a flashing light and continues, "Now just relax, Savior. Let all the thoughts flow away. The sinners used to call this regressive hypnosis. All you need to do is let the light into your eyes and my voice into your ears. You stare at the white circle. A minute passes, then another, then another. You don't even realize when it kicks in. White clouds blurring, decay waning, rising murmurs from the click, 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 click. Saginaw, a lifetime ago, alive with patients and staff, the entrance foyer, a reception desk, nurses with hair extensions and powdered noses, a man to the left in a dress shirt underneath a blue hoodie, a man signing pre-admission papers for patient Philip Kindred, a man signing as Bertrand Ferris, a man looking up, a man without a face. White clouds again, teeth on leather, pain and everything, pain and nothing. For all the intensity of the images, it just feels like you snapped out of a daydream. The king sits across from you, mask removed, his hollow green eyes desperate for hope. Has the truth returned to you, Savior? Do you know what we must do to save our church? Suddenly you realize how much power you have in that moment. You consider your next words carefully. You can tell him the blue frog is doomed. That one seems like a bad plan. Tell him to believe in the blue frog. Tell him you have no answers. Tell him the church needs a new king. I don't know which one of these is actually going to be a successful option. I have no clue, like, which one to choose right now. I'm not so sure that any of this is, like, a good idea or a bad idea. This has the whole pretext. Like, I feel like a couple of these options are probably going to lead to an instantaneous death. I would say that that one's probably, like, straight out. I would say that that would more than likely be the one that I would avoid because, the blue frog is doomed might get us into trouble. Then again, it might lead to something hilarious. Who knows? I have no clue. Well. I think I'll probably go, God, that one's probably the most obvious, I think. If you're just trying to, like, manipulate people. I'll tell him to believe in the blue frog, I guess. As soon as you finish speaking, the door behind you flings open. The beaten bishop barges in as if without injury. "Don't listen to him," the bishop shouts. "Can't you see? He's just as deluded as your father was. Remember our plan, Eli. We are righteous." You can tell him to go screw himself. We can tell the king. That one seems like I'm going to do that one right there. Yep. I'm going to do it. I think this is probably the one. Yeah, the righteous are always tempted. You don't stop to wonder where the words come from. They're just there, ready to counter the bishop. The king's eyes look at you, then him. But which is it? Who can I trust? The bishop crosses his arms pointedly at you. A trial of pain. Tell the king the choice is his. Tell the king you can be trusted. I don't know which one of these is like... I have no idea. I think that one seems a little rudimentary. If you tell the king the choice is his... That one seems tough too. Challenge, this one right here seems like the manliest. The challenge of pain. The bishop falls silent. "Ooh," the king said. "That's a ballsy idea. Eddie?" The bishop nods. "Let's get it over with. The three of you, along with every blue frog in the vicinity, flood the hallways and head to the auditorium. Whichever way this goes, at least you'll have an audience." The king calls his court to order. "Accuser," he says to you. "Mark, you're accused." You feel your arm go numb as you point to the bishop. "Him!" "Take that, Eddie." A murmur sweeps through the crowd, swelling into a roar. "Brothers and sisters," the king tries to shout over the crowd. It's not enough. He tries again and again, but for once he can't contain them. You look around at the cultists. You're not even sure what you're seeing. Grief, outrage, euphoria, or some twisted fusion of the three. Whatever it is, it's growing. With mere words, you set a forest of madness ablaze, and the inferno is beyond all control. What have you done? After a few deafening minutes, the crowd finally quiets enough for the king to be heard. Brothers and sisters, the rights are clear. An accuser is sired and accused, and by our creed we shall see who is pure and who is corrupt through a trial of pain. 3 torments will purify us, and 3 torments give us the truth. The trial of water, of fire, and of light. From these 3 torments, the accused shall choose but one. The accuser may then accept this choice, or invoke the right of one refusal and force the accused to choose from the remaining 2 torments. That's a little bit confusing. I need to read that. So we're the accuser. The accused chooses his thing. The accuser, I can accept the choice, invoke the right of one refusal, and force the accused to do something else. Okay, so I'm assuming that like the trial that we want him to go through is going to be the trial of light. I'm not sure what I should do right now. Either way, let's continue. Accused, the king says to the bishop. Make your choice. The bishop unmasks, revealing a pale-faced man with beady black eyes and short blonde hair. A trial of light, he says. Accuser, the king says to you, do you accept the trial of light? You study the bishop. Does he want this trial, or is he hoping you'll veto it so he can choose the one he actually wants? He looks nervous. It could be an act. Well, let's read his body language. Few people have full control of the volumes their body speaks. What is the bishop saying? You study him for his tells, and his whole body seems to be racked with anxiety. Then you catch a glimpse of it, a break in the veneer, a pause in his routine like a song skipping a beat. It's an act. He only wants you to think he's gunning for a different trial. So, if I refuse the trial of light and force the bishop to choose a different one. Okay, so I think we both have to go through this, right? So I don't want to do the trial of light because I know that kills you, I think. The bishop goes into a genuine panic. He tries to hide it, but you see it betrayed by his gaunt face. The accuser has refused the torment, the king says. Accused, your choice. After a time, the bishop says, a trial of water. The king nods. Then the trial of water shall commence. The blue frogs rush. Spotlights flood the auditorium as 2 pairs of cultists wheel out wooden tables from the dome in the center. To them, you and the bishop are fastened. Before one dirty rag stuffs your mouth and another wraps your face. Altogether, the cultists chant, purity holds its light in pain. You hear a container dunk into a vat of water nearby as the king declares, may the righteous be the victor. The rags turn thick and heavy on your face, and it's almost impossible not to gag. The water pounds up and down again, trickling in through your nose. You swallow through the cloth just to clear a breath, and another downpour comes. You tell yourself to keep fighting, and you do. You tread the very doorstep of drowning for as long as you can. In your last moments of resistance, the water stops. You're freed from the table in time to throw up as you start dry heaving. When you look up again, the cultists are dragging the unconscious bishop away. The cheers run wild. They love the trial. They loved each second so much that they're the last to see the king fall to the ground and a woman rush to help him. Liza, you hear him gasp. The auditorium blurs and wobbles while you're removed from the room. They keep you in a dank cell while you recover. Despite having proven yourself pure, you play the events over and over again in your head. The king's collapse, his horrid-sounding breaths, Liza coming in to help a bit too quickly, and the king only held on long enough to name his or her heir, and he died clutching the church's holy book. Then they took you away. The hours pass. When the guards come again, you're too weak to do anything but go with them back to the auditorium. Liza now sits where the king once stood on the medical chair. They address her as queen. The newfound silence of the crowd unnerves you. For exposing the traitor in our house, she says coldly, you have earned a reward. You may name it. Let's see here. We can ask for help in finding Saginaw's old patient records. That's because we now know that we were admitted here in the storyline. We can have medicines and supplies. That's a nano-robot health kit. We could use it, but ask to be made a bishop of the Blue Frog. I assume that that's just like an upgraded version of the normal sash. I don't know. I guess we'll learn something about ourselves because we don't really need the medical supplies. I mean, we can find a nano-robot kit somewhere else. I have enough money to buy one anyways. It's not a big deal. Liza says nothing for a minute, considering your words. To look so hard for your loved ones, even in this chaos. Parents maybe? Grandparents? Whatever the case, it's touching to see how dedicated you are. I'll help you find those records myself. You're not sure what she means, but you say nothing. She rises to her constituents. My children, many hardships wait for us ahead, and dawn will come only if we're prepared to meet it. But before I return, I want you all to take a good look deep inside yourselves and find out what lineage means to you, and most of all, what the blue frog means to you. The cultists drop their heads down solemnly. Liza looks at you and walks out of the room. Follow me. Liza leads you to the north wing through a set of decorated doors and into a barren room. Philip Kindred, she muses. Well, it doesn't matter. The blue frog doesn't need a prophesied savior anymore. I'll make sure of it when I destroy the old order. Still, a deal's a deal. Liza opens the blue frog's cult's holy book and tears out its last few pages. Take these. They're what's left of your patient files, and we don't need them anymore. Now come on, there's one last thing you need to hear. You walk with Liza back to the auditorium, folding the loose pages under your clothes. She ascends the central platform, poised to address her flock. It's done, Liza says. From coldness, her voice turns severe and commanding. As queen, my duty is to strengthen our house, and today its greatest weaknesses are the most barbaric practices. My children, pain is not a gateway to purity, only to more pain. Purity is loyalty, and it is survival, and it is serving something greater. Because of this, she goes on, instruments of the old regime have to be uprooted. Sadistic practices are crimes, and crimes deserve punishment. The Bishop, Edward Kincaid, has escaped, but justice will find him, just as it now finds you. Justice, it now finds you? Liza turns to you. For your crime of turning against a fellow blue frog and invoking the right of challenge, righteous or not, I have no choice but to banish you from the church. Your deed will be remembered, your name will not. And just like that, they drag you out. You walk away from the Saginaw Medical Institution with some confusion. Were you made an example? Was Liza threatened? Maybe breaking ties with you was a favor. Despite everything that's happened, it looks exactly the same as when you arrived. The stronghold shrinks in the distance behind you, but the colors of the cult refuse to recede from memory. You stop dead in your tracks when a scattering shadow appears before you, resolving its formlessness in thin air. Oh no, they didn't give me my stuff back. Bastards. Oh damn, okay, so... Alright, you stop dead in your tracks when a scattering shadow appears before you, resolving its formlessness from thin air, making and unmaking itself along its fringes. Below, a pale mask on what looks like its head, a bright light burns, and there's fury in the light. With a movement no human body could make, the wraith hurls something at you, then vanishes. You nearly fall back at the force, but manage to stay upright. You look down, it's a crumpled gas mask with a broken beak. So, apparently I'm nude now? Aw, man. At least they didn't take my money. But... oh, no, there it is. Okay. Whew. Okay. Whew. I got scared there for a second. I got worried. Alright, so everybody put on a pack. There we go. All of the packs. My name is Splattercat. Thank you for joining me here at the Nerdcastle for the next episode of Neo Scavenger, which was pretty eventful. But I'm glad you were here. It was kind of a crazy episode. I look forward to playing further crazy episodes with all of you. Take care out there, everybody, and hi-do as always.